Good evening, everyone. Adequate notice of this meeting was provided by sending such notice to Asbury Park Press, Middletown Patch, Middletown Township website, and the posting of such notice at proposed T minor administrative offices in elementary, middle, secondary school in the district. Roll call.
Mrs. Kennedy? Here. Mrs. Hartley? Here. Mr. Fitzgerald?
Here.
Mr. Heffernan?
Here.
Mrs. Mays? Here. Mr. Toth?
Here.
Mrs. Wright? Here. Mrs. Tobacco? Yes. Okay. Mr. Capone?
Here. Need a motion for exec session to discuss matters of HIV, September SSDS, superintendent's contract, special litigation, and personnel matters. Discussion, all in favor? Opposed? See you in a while. Good evening, everyone. Please stand for the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. We're going to start off tonight with high school North student speaker, Aiden Cordiciero. Aiden.
Better write one meeting. Good evening. Other Pride, our student and staff member of the month recognition program, celebrates excellence, serves as our school community's foundation. Award winners for October include Richard Flater, Lindsay Torres for 9th grade, Jacob Silvio and Ryan Hackman for 10th, John Duncan, Justin Ferron for 11th, Christy Phineas, Emily Dixon, 12th. Our staff member was Ms. Vandercreek. Student government election to determine this year's leadership team was held in October. This marked the highest voter participation in high school North's history, following an exciting, highly competitive election process. The winners are Ronald Miller for president, his vice president, Abby Slover. 8 of high school North's outstanding vocalists were accepted to all show chorus. They are Yulia Cattle, Yona Delaney, Pico Gonzalez, Dr. Broderick, Vivian Oliver, Brian Vibrance, Kira Rooney, and Lila Sickler. 4 of our exceptional student athletes signed NCAA National Letters of Intent and National Letters of Intent to compete last week during high school North ceremonial signing events. They are Ava Seacrest, Jacksonville University, Division I lacrosse. Anthony Asperino to Alvernia University for Division III wrestling. Sarah Grace, Montclair State University, Division III baseball. Alexandra Cervigliano to Alvernia University for Division III softball. Senior Brandon Trusano earned the Dwight D. Eisenhower Award, a distinguished honor that recognizes his outstanding contribution to positive community-wide influence. High school North student government has honored a Middletown resident or graduate of our school who is currently serving America's Armed Forces each day throughout the month of November. Pictures of these individuals are displayed on our salute to service wall, which is located near our main entrance. A lot of UN delegates participated in the conference at Princeton University this past weekend. These individuals serve on various leadership committees related to international affairs, peace, security. High school North's homecoming dance was held on Thursday, October 16th. We are grateful to our parents, community for assisting with decorations, particularly in the courtyard, which was illuminated and looked awesome. It's a Wonderful Life, a live radio play, our fall play, was a monumental success. The performance was amazing, and the storyline kicked off the holiday season across our campus. High school North's annual bonfire event was tonight, and it featured a celebration of fall athletic programs, as well as our band, choir, and dance teams. Six original projects from our talented filmmakers were selected to be screened at the Northeast Honor Film Festival on Saturday, December 2nd. While our school store has been selling new, very inventory for months, today marks the ceremonial grand reopening, well-attended ribbon cutting ceremony. High school North's 8th grade open house, which will include informational presentations and campus tours, is scheduled for Tuesday, November 28th from 6 to 8 p.m. Mike, thank you, and happy holidays.
Thank you, Aiden. Now I'm going to move to high school south with Jake Dembowski. Jake can stay there or let's go to the next. Sure.
Great to see all of you tonight. Fall sports season has reached its conclusion for most sports, and it was an extremely successful season for all our sports. The girls' cross-country team won the Central Jersey Group 3 Championship and followed that up with an impressive second-place finish in the meet of champions. Senior Rosie Shea led the way with the third-place overall finish in the state. The girls' gymnastics team finished second at the short conference tournament, second at the Central Jersey Championships, and fourth at the overall state championships. Senior Emma Gentile won both the short conference championship and overall state championship of both. The girls' soccer team defeated Howard to win the first short conference championship in school history. The girls' volleyball team won the first ever short conference tournament and state tournament matches, finishing their season with a record of 14-7. The boys' soccer, field hockey, boys' cross country, and girls' tennis all had successful seasons and runs in short conference and state tournament. The winter season began for most sports today with scrimmages and games being held the first week in December. The Middletown South Eagles Hall of Fame held their 6th induction on the last weekend of October. 10 former South athletes and coaches and 3 teams were inducted in a 2-part ceremony with over 180 people in attendance at Saturday's brunch event. Tickets for the upcoming Thanksgiving football game are on the way. It should be a great day of traditions. Middletown South's homecoming bonfire was held tonight, and it featured an open mic, free hot chocolate, games, 2 bands, and alumni were encouraged to attend. At the next meeting, I will have more information. South students continue to help the community, holding a competition food drive. Classes with the most donations will be awarded a breakfast for their generosity. All donations will be given to Middletown Health Hotel. Middletown South presented The Revenge of the Space Pandas by David Manna last weekend, and as always, it was well attended. Great work to Mr. Kozak and his students for their amazing performance. South's Diversity Club is beginning its 2nd annual Coffee and Kindness. Students and teachers can be nominated. We all look forward to spreading kindness this year. Last Wednesday, South held its National Letter of Intent signing for Division I universities. 9 of our student athletes committed to continue their academic and athletic careers at the collegiate level. Sam Tinoco, West Virginia, for soccer. Cameron Zotak, South Carolina, for soccer. Rosie Shea, Villanova, track and field. Owen Richter, Brown, for lacrosse. Amelia Abzarni, Seton Hall, swimming. Caitlin Maroney, Brown, rugby. Maddie Hussey, for Lehigh, for track and field. Louis D'Alessio, UAB, for baseball. And Mason Christophers to Seton Hall baseball. The Middletown High School South Spectrum Gender and Sexuality Alliance participated in Transgender Awareness Week. Students were encouraged to attend a club meeting and seek out resources to foster a more inclusive community. Congratulations to Mia Dimitri, Joe DeMarco, Sean O'Grady, and Mara Collins. Their film Panic was selected to be screened at this year's McDonough Film Festival in Moscow, Russia. December 22nd and December 24th. This will be the 2nd international screening of this film in the past 7 months. I hope all of you have a safe and happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. So moving on to our committee reports, we'll start with curriculum and instruction. Mrs. Harper.
We met last Friday night and discussed a few things just to highlight for everybody. The cognitive abilities scores and look at tests went out to the parents of 2nd and 5th graders, and we definitely encourage everyone, if you haven't already, to take a look at those score reports and to go online, check out some of the resources. There's a lot of good stuff on there regarding how to interpret those scores, and also just resources to help your children based on what came out of those. Another thing that we talked about that is exciting, hopefully we'll get off the ground in the coming probably next school year, is continuing with lessons in fine and performing arts in the middle school. So right now Students only get lessons in fourth and fifth grade, and then in middle school, those lessons will continue, and there's some, thought that that could be a reason for some of the drop off that we see in arts, and arts very important in the district, so it's something that we want to definitely encourage continued participation in. So that's something we're looking into, like I said, hopefully for next year that we're excited about. And I think that's it.
Very good, Ms. Bauer, thank you. Moving on to student services, Mr. Feld.
Yes, thank you. We met on November 16th as well. Discussed a number of topics. I'll also hit some highlights for everybody. First, as you might recall, in the last several months, our district has been subject to a couple different state of New Jersey audit programs. One is the additional or compensatory special education related services grant audit, and the other is an audit of our transition programs for 18 to 21 year old students. Pleased to report that both of those have been completed, and we've succeeded and passed with flying colors on both of those. That's good. Also, on behalf of our committee, and I probably speak for the board, a big thank you to a teacher at South who donated a whole lot of furniture to our transition program. So it's furniture that can be put to use in a simulated living environment, a home or workplace, and students can use that as they make their transition from school to the real world through our program. So that's a big thank you to that teacher from South. Keep your eyes open. In January, Superintendent Alphone will be hosting a special ed parent forum. Some of the logistics and topics and participation approaches are being worked out now. It's going to be a nice opportunity to share feedback with the superintendent about parents' experiences, good and bad, so we can develop and move on, move forward in the right direction. But keep your eyes open for that. There'll be more information in the next month or two. That will be taking place probably in late January. And then a couple of things that we're getting the ball rolling on that I'm excited about. One is looking into better opportunities for special ed support within the world language classes. That's typically not something that special ed support is provided in. It's just the rules and regulations in that area. But the administration is looking into ways to work with class sizes and other opportunities to facilitate some special ed support, including in-class consultative model support within the world language program. And then last, thank you to the Middletown Friendly Diverse Learners group, who's very helpful with this topic. We talked about expanding opportunities for social engagement, extracurricular activities for special ed students. It's obviously a large portion of our district, and so we're going to I don't have all the answers yet and what the outcomes will be, but we're going to look into a number of different ways to try to expand and provide some structure around and better notice for those kinds of opportunities for special ed students and all different special ed.
Thank you, Mr. Tuttle. Moving on to facility and finance, Mrs. Dory.
I'll do my best. I apologize for my voice, but we had discussion about some agenda items that are on the agenda this evening. One of them is a change order to our HAC contract for work that was done near Bay Shore or over Bay Shore. We are increasing the amount of the contract and that amount for $34,000 to install some adjustable dust detectors in the rooftop units that were put in there. Was unforeseen at the time of the contract. So we'll be doing that change order. We also continue to discuss the high school turf track and review some of the options that are blocking the needs for turf material and track material for the project. Awarding contracts very soon. We also talked about the progress that our architect is making with our master plan assessment project that they're working on. They're going through all of the buildings here in the district and putting together an update of our list of improvements and so forth. And that will be an ongoing process through the end of the year. So really just kind of started on it. We also talked about in the finance, the settlement agreement that was on the agenda last month and we're listing again for this month because we have to have this docket number on the list of the approval. We also have a few items under transportation, recreation girls, jointers, and athletics. The good news about the athletics is we just opened the women's sports is we do get paid off everything. So we're happy about that. And we're awarding them this event. We also went over in committee, on the agenda tonight, will be DPRs for QSAC, and we went over the fiscal DPRs in our committee. So those were also on the agenda, and I'm sure Mrs. Zappos will talk a little about that. We also have a appointment of special counsel related to a specific case we're working on, related to insurance coverage. So we have on the agenda. We also went over some preliminary information for the 24-25 budget, which we will continue to be working on in March. And then we're committing down some of the projected revenues and expenses that we're looking at very early on in the process. So there's a lot of things that change, a lot of more information that's gathered, but we just let everybody know we have started working on that. We also talked about the update on Fort Monmouth property and the fact that the county is having a consultant assess it, the feasibility of doing an aquatic center there. So we're waiting to see how that is on that. And that was it. So, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Doherty. Moving on to policy, Mr. Kirkpatrick.
Good evening, everyone. We had 2 policy meetings since our October 17th board meeting. At the October 19th policy meeting, related policies were examined as a result of recent requests to allow homeschool students to participate in athletics and co-curricular activities in the Middletown Township Public School System. The meeting included district administrators, board members, and parents. During the meeting, it was discovered that the request for participation was not only for traditional homeschool students, but for students enrolled in a virtual accredited school program and students enrolled in tuition-based private schools as well. There were policy committee members that needed to leave before the 2.5-hour meeting ended, therefore no consensus was reached. This topic was also discussed at the November board meeting. So we had, the November policy meeting. We had another policy meeting on November 17th. A number of policies and regulations were discussed. The first reads of the policies and adoptions from the meeting will be on the December agenda. 2 items from the November 19th meeting are on tonight's agenda. Regulation 5200, attendance, is on the agenda tonight for adoption. And policy 5230, late arrival and early dismissal, is on the agenda for first.
Zach, could you explain what the difference is in the attendance policy?
Yes, so in the past, policy states that we do not accept doctor's notes from parents right away. We are looking to allow parents to hand in doctor's notes for illnesses for 3 or more days, consecutive days, or chronic illness. So this gives parents the opportunity to not wait until their child is at a loss of credit to give the notes if it's a chronic, ongoing absence for more than 3 days.
Saves a lot of time.
It does. And the anxiety that some of the students were feeling, we had students that were anxious about, waiting for possibly losing credit to have to talk to administration about those absences. So this gives parents the opportunity to have those conversations a little bit earlier.
Okay, moving on to public comment on agenda items only. Anyone would like to make a comment on agenda items, please step forward. State your name and address for the record.
My name is Linda Green. I live at 10 East Court. I want to thank the board for making its decision. While the policy committee says it couldn't come to a consensus, I think by now we have all learned how it all works. There's 4 members in the policy committee. So if the policy committee couldn't come to a consensus, it means 2 were willing to move forward to figure out a way to give homeschoolers access, and the other 2 were not. And as your lawyer told us a couple months ago, when a committee cannot come to a consensus, because dies and goes away. So while it's not the decision we had hoped for, we're honestly just grateful that a decision has been made. And I hope that in the future, when a family in Middletown comes before you to ask of something for their children, that the administration and the Board of Ed can come to its decision much, much sooner than 7 months. Aside from that, I just want to thank specifically Joe, Barry, Deborah, and Gary, because there was one moment through this whole journey that meant the most to my family and I, and that is the night that our boys, Dylan and Justin, came forward to speak before you. Now, I know the root of their passion for this cause. I know that they wanted, as homeschoolers in Middletown, to have the decision for themselves to decide if they could try out for a sports team or join a school club, just as their homeschooled friends in Brook can do, and just as many homeschoolers in other communities throughout our state can do. I also know how nervous they were that night when they came before you to speak. It can be quite intimidating coming here and standing up for what you believe in as an adult. Before an 11-year-old child to do it, it's quite remarkable and commendable. And that night that my children spoke after the meeting ended, Joe, Barry, Deborah, and Gary walked up to my boys, looked at them in their eyes, and told them, "You did amazing. That was a great job. You were so brave. You were so confident." And that meant so much to my family and I. And I just want to thank the 4 of you for showing my boys how much they accomplished that night. And I want to thank you for making your words a part of their memory of that moment. So thank you guys so much.
Anyone else like to make a public comment? Seeing no one else. Okay. I just want to bring out Middletown High School South made the number 8 best public school in sports for New Jersey. Big accolade, that's tremendous accomplishment. So congratulations also to the following Middletown elementary schools for earning the best elementary school distinction by U.S. News and World Report for 2024. Fairview, Lincroft, Village, Navesink, Nutswamp, and Grove Plaza. Lastly, one more congratulations to Thompson Middle School for earning the best middle school by U.S. News and World Report for 2024. Congratulations. I have to say, just wishing everyone a happy Thanksgiving, and for those who celebrate, very happy. We are now going on to the superintendent's report. Mrs. Alpha.
Thank you, Mr. Capone. Welcome, everyone. There are a couple topics that I want to cover this evening. The first has to do with some information that has been being talked about in the community regarding censorship and other resources and materials that are used in our curriculum. And I think in order to start with, I just want to make it clear to the community that there is by no means any censorship of topics occurring in our curriculum. We are required by code and by the New Jersey Student Learning Standards to cover certain content, and we don't have a choice on that. More importantly, we believe in educating students on historical and cultural events. So I just want to make sure that I said that because I think there has been some disconnect with some of the conversation that is happening in the community. I think it's also important for the public to understand how a resource or a material comes to be encumbered into our curriculum. We don't do this in a vacuum. I or any other administrator doesn't write a curriculum. We are actually consult on it. We convene teams of educators that are our teaching staff members that are familiar with the content and have experience with curriculum writing, and they take suggestions on content, write the curriculum, and vet that content. It then goes through multiple reads with our administrative team. It passes into our curriculum committee of the board, where we review it even again and have conversations surrounding the content and also the materials and resources. And then it comes before the board for a vote to be an approved form of curriculum with all its materials and resources included. So when somebody wants to be encumbered as a new resource, it would need to go through a similar vetting process. That is just responsible curriculum writing as a process. So when we talk about things being included or excluded, there is a process behind that. So I just wanted to make sure the community understood how something comes to be in our curriculum documents. It's become a little trickier over time because the internet and immediate access has really broadened what we have at our fingertips on a regular basis. But by no means do we feel responsible in letting our students or our teachers have unfettered access to content and resources unlimitedly. That would be irresponsible on our part. So we never dissuade a teacher from bringing forth a resource that they feel is valuable and worthy. And they certainly do have to use their lesson planning mechanisms or consult with their content director or administrator in their building to ensure that it's being vetted in a similar way that we do with those other materials. So I think it's really important to understand those pieces. The final thing I want to talk about is BrainPop, because that's been kind of the big digital app that's been in question. BrainPop has put some filters on their content. This is by no means something that we decided to do in the sense of tagging certain items as sensitive versus not. That was something that was done by that digital tool that we purchased as a district. However, again, we do not allow, based on our curriculum writing process, unfettered access to any video that's within that digital tool. If you look at our curriculum documents, you will see very specific BrainPop videos in that document, which demonstrates that those videos, it's a whole host of them, have all been placed through that vetting process and then appear on our curriculum as things that have been vetted and approved. So what we don't want to have is a student to stumble upon a video because they can log in through Clever, which is our single sign-on feature, and have access to something that they may need more explanation on. And we would also want it to be couched in a larger framework of the context for instruction. So I felt it really important for the community to understand the bigger picture when it comes to selection of materials and how they appear and become approved in our curriculum. So the BrainPop request by teachers to use videos that aren't already there is not an unusual thing because we vet all of our materials, sensitive or not, in the same exact way. So that's the first thing I wanted to talk about. I have a couple of topics that I want to continue with. So the next thing I want to talk about is the hiring of a new business teacher at High School South. Some of you may or may not be aware, we have been trying to hire a business teacher, which is a very, very difficult certification to come by, especially with the significant teacher shortages that we are having. Our candidate pools across the state aren't just what they used to be. However, this was due to a resignation of one of our business teachers at High School South to start the school year. So what we chose to do is we employed an ESS substitute who actually happened to have a business certification. And what they had was something called a comprehensive business cert. And what this allows that individual to teach is our dual enrollment courses, which are college credit bearing courses for the students in that classroom. Without having that comprehensive business certification, we cannot partner with the universities and award that college credit to those students. So we have a teacher who has done an outstanding job as an ESS substitute and has been working with our students since September. We've received nothing but positive feedback from administrators and colleagues within the department. This individual also applied for one of our full-time positions, went through the interview process, and will be appearing on the agenda tonight for potential hiring. We are confident, based on this educator's performance with us in the 3 months that he has been here, that it is the right decision for our students. Because without an individual with that comprehensive business certification, we would not be able to continue with the awarding of that college credit. I know that there's been some dialogue in the community about this individual's previous employment, and I just want to remind the community that there are two sides to every story. Unfortunately, situations can take on a life of their own in regards to misinformation being spread, but please know I am making this recommendation based on this educator's classroom teaching capabilities only and proven track records in our classroom since September. I'm confident that this individual will continue to uphold the standard of excellence that we require in all of our schools, like he has since the day he came in September. So, thank you for listening to that long-winded response. I do want to talk about the homeschool, and I just want to inform the school community that as Belinda came up and spoke about, that we will not be moving forward with any amendments or changes to the district's homeschool policy at this time. And I just want everyone to know, this was definitely not a decision that we took lightly, and there was much discussion, lots of debate, a variety of opinions among all of the stakeholders, most recently the policy committee that just met last week. And while there was not consensus among the board policy committee members, the administrative team believes that co-curricular and extracurricular activity participation is part of really the larger student experience within the district. And for a variety of reasons, parents of homeschool students have made the choice to not participate in the public school experience, which we believe is inclusive of co-curricular and extracurricular offerings. Also important to this decision, as Mr. Kirkpatrick reported out, is the fact that the definition of what constitutes a homeschool situation has greatly changed and expanded over the last several years to encumber a wide range of options from traditional homeschooling to virtual and pod experiences, not to mention the private school sector. Because of this expansion, it truly does become a significant challenge to manage and monitor things like student eligibility, residency, and attendance. So, certainly, again, not a decision that we took lightly. Finally, we are undergoing our district performance review through the QSAC process. This is a state and county level process where we are audited on 5 different areas of school functioning. It's not how well we do things, it's do we have processes and structures in place in these 5 areas. Instruction and programming, fiscal, governance, personnel, and operations. So tonight, what is on the agenda for approval is our self-scoring. We are required to self-score and submit every year. This is also our formal QSAC year, which we do an audit with the county where they come on site and we provide evidence to support all those self-scorings, and that will take place in May. So finally, I just want to inform the community that my next community update will be on November 1st, because the 30th is a Friday, and that's just a strange day, or sorry, December 1st, because that's kind of a strange day to do things. I like to send things on a Friday. So please look for it on December 1st. And I just want to wish the entire school community a happy Thanksgiving. If you can get out, come to the North-South game. I'm sure it's going to be an exciting and fun event for everyone. And we will see you all after the long weekend. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Arpon. Okay, I need a motion to approve 8A and B minutes, executive session minutes, October 17th, 2023. Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, abstentions. I need a roll call vote. Motion on 9, Board of Education, approval of employment agreement for superintendent of schools. Discussion. Amy, can we get a roll call?
Mrs. Cameron,
Yes.
Mrs. Farley.
Yes.
Mr. Fitzgerald. Yes. Mr. Heffernan,
Yes.
Mrs. Manuel's,
No.
Mr. Toth,
Yes.
Mrs. Wright,
Yes.
Mrs. Tobacco,
Yes.
Mr. Capone.
Yes, and congratulations, Mrs. Alpone, once again. And moving on to motion to approve 9B through D.
So, second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion to approve 10 business office consent agenda, 10A through I. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed, abstentions. And need a motion to approve 11 recommendation of the superintendent of schools, 11A through K, plus the addendum. Discussion? All in favor? Okay, this is a yes. And this is with 251098 for B.
Okay, I have two things. On number 6, I am 6C. I am the,
Where is that, Leora?
it's under personnel.
Okay,
Yeah. Number 10, I am abstaining on. And on number 251098, that is B.
mhm.
251098, I am voting no.
Yes, separate.
Yeah,
I think we bypassed.
the president pulled it off. So that'll be a separate
Oh,
vote.
hold it
It's a
off?
separate-
I
yeah, yeah, yeah,
apologize.
separate vote.
Okay, I didn't realize. Okay,
So you just 6 you're a no, 10 you're abstaining,
yes, I am.
and the rest are yes.
Then I'm a yes.
Okay,
And
anyone
I
else?
am, yes. I am voting no on C, number A and C. I'm voting no on 10. I'm voting no on high school north equipment manager. And that should be it.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Manager, what was the first one you said?
First one was letter C. Oh, number 6, okay, number 6, C, no, yeah, number 6, letter C. A, A and C, no on 10, no on the north equipment manager.
Okay, for everybody, it's yes?
Yes.
Okay. Now we need a motion to approve 11B 251098. Okay, discussion? This is. Are you for or against currently out of states?
So a no vote would be as discussed. at the work session.
Discussion? All in favor? Oppose? I oppose. Abstentions?
I think my way was easy. Just want you to know, I think my way was easy.
We got through it already.
Oh,
And moving on to old business. Does anyone have old business? No? New business. Okay. You're up.
I want to say that we went to school board convention and it was very interesting. There were a lot of courses there that gave a lot of good info. We went to planning on construction and success, which is to kind of help us get started on what our buildings need to be addressed in our buildings, maybe looking for a referendum, how we're going to pay for it. It was really interesting on how to engage the community in part. So I hope that we can go forward with some of that. Another one that I attended was 13 common mistakes made by board members, and that was really interesting, I must say. Preparing students for future work, which a lot of the things that they discussed, we are in the process of doing, so that was really good to hear. I did a workshop on inclusion, attended the steam tank and the student film showcase, which was really good. It was disappointing this year, some of our students weren't there, but it was explained that, you know, a lot of our students are just getting involved. A lot of our seniors graduated that usually attend that. So hopefully next year we will have students attend on that. And we also went to the school law update, which was very interesting. I attended the Fall Festa at Mead St. The North Play this week, I went to, and I went to the senior luncheon event before the play, and it was really nice to see the room packed with senior citizens having lunch and going to see the play. I think that's the best way to get our seniors into our schools to see what's really going on and what our schools look like and how our students perform, and they were very excited. Unfortunately, I did not get to South due to a family obligation. Yeah, I'm sure I did. Their kids are so great. Their kids are so talented. Yeah, I know. It's better than going to New York, and I don't like to go to New York anymore, so school plays are a big thing for me. Kids are outstanding. We also attended the Harmony Casino night, which was very well attended and a lot of fun. So anybody who didn't get to attend this year, you might want to look next year because it was really a good time, good night. Also the Ocean Avenue gift auction, I want to thank my fellow board members for all they did. That was a very well attended event this year, and I was really excited for them. They put a lot of work into it. I also attended both of the high school signings, and each student that signed was amazing. It's just, they had amazing stories. Their coaches and mentors, you know, just told the whole story about them, and I wish them nothing but the best of luck in their future endeavors. I also attended the Hall of Fame for High School South. And I have to say, I sat there and I've been here so long, I knew all that history that they were talking about. I felt like I could back them up on some of that. But it was really nice to see so many people come. It was well attended. A lot of old timers were there, and it was really nice to see and hear and reminisce about the past and all the good things that happened in the district. I'm looking forward to the holiday concert, so keep those dates flowing. And that's all I have.
Hey, very good. Does anyone else have new business? Okay, I'd like to speak about something real quick. We have to actually speak about the calendar for next year for our reorg. Is January 3rd a possibility for everyone? I think it's a Wednesday.
Was it scheduled for another day?
We have nothing scheduled.
I think it was.
You can or can't?
I can.
Gary. Kate. Joe. Ben. We are good. We are set. Real meeting is Monday, January 3rd. I'm sorry, Wednesday, January. It's 7 o'clock. Ms. Gillespie? Yes. 7 o'clock, Wednesday, January 3rd. And that's what I have for my new business. We will move on to public comment on the non-agenda items. Anything you'd like to state, please step to the microphone, state your name and address for the record.
Hi, my name is Sarah Malley, and I will write my address down to read it. I recently moved to Middletown based on the reputation of teachers here. I have questions about what Ms. Alvone mentioned about grade class. I'll read them all now, and then I'll send it to council for answers. An employee of Middletown School told me that around September 2022, more than 25 of grade class in Middletown, sections like the Holocaust, Ukraine, slavery, civil rights, depression. I know you mentioned a sensitive label that is this content, so Brain Club said they put labels on in 2017. My first question is, why were they okay for 5 years before being restricted? My next question is on the restriction criteria. I assumed that only the content making it sensitive was restricted, but groundwork, board of ed, and civil rights do not have sensitive labels, and those restrictions as well. Why were those restricted? Guns and gun rights are not restricted, and we know many kids are scared of gun violence in school, so what is the exact restriction criteria? I heard you say that there is concern about students accessing sensitive information at home without supervision. This logic worries me. Is book banning also happening here, since students can sometimes read without supervision? And are you assuming that parents cannot supervise? My next questions are around process. Who exactly has the final say in the time of what gets restricted? Do you send emails to all parents and teachers when it happens? Do you offer an opt-in policy so parents have the right to make their own decisions, just like the self-education? Also, it does not seem like those restrictions were done in accordance with policy 9130, which could potentially open us up to more legal trouble. My last questions are around teacher access. BrainPop allows you to give access to teachers, but not to students. Why do Middletown restrict teachers to force them to go through the process? Why would they ever be denied? How long does it take to approve them? When they're approved, do their students get access to, or just them? I understand that by law, these topics are being taught, and our teachers have some resources they can fill. But why are we limiting resources? At a time when there's increased anti-Semitism and mental health issues, why would we ever block educational, age-appropriate, already paid for material on Anne's brain for depression? If parents don't want their kids to see it, should they not have the right to monitor that themselves? Maybe you're not banning the topics completely, but reducing the resources that teachers have to teach is a big step on the fairway sensitive. I obviously am perplexed by what's going on, and I'll send these questions to the email in full. However, I am not okay with any educational material being restricted from my kids. And frankly, BrainPop is a really amazing tool. I've seen the videos and quizzes on parents' accounts from neighboring towns that are not restricted, and they are very well done and age appropriate. I will be requesting an opt-in form so that I, as a parent, have the right to access all of the resources that come out of my kids. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
My name's Jeanette, and I live in Lawrence.
Sorry, could you speak the last name too?
Martin. Yes. I'm a Middletown resident, voter, and taxpayer. There are a lot of us here tonight, many residents, and note that we are residents. We're not bussed in. We live. So what do we bother on Monday night before Thanksgiving? Why are we here? We're here because we're alarmed about the brain pop restrictions. We believe in education. We believe in teaching history fully, fairly, in all its glory and all its art. Human history and American history have much to be proud of and much to be dreaded. We must teach all of it. We can't address injustice and inequality without understanding history. So it's hard to understand how you can restrict curriculum that covers topics such as the Holocaust, civil rights, slavery, LGBTQIA history. Support developed by curriculum experts to be age appropriate and student appropriate. Support provided by the state and paid for by taxpayers. We're alarmed that our board has been taken over by a political agenda. We have to always remember context in which everything is happening. Today, throughout the U.S., there is a movement to restrict and deny education on exactly those subjects, exactly the subjects restricted for brain pop access. We're alarmed because we see this influence step by step. Some of the steps Thea talked about, changes to the controversial topics policy. The next step appears to be these brain pop restrictions. As you follow these and think about it, you can only fear that book bans are next. Certainly follow the extremist playbook. So we residents are here to request two things: to remove the brain pop restriction and to never to ban books in any way. I'll follow up with an email and look forward to all your answers. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Carrie Christensen. I live at 7 Mayhill Road, and I am a parent to a second grader at Mason and a kindergartner next year. I'm also, with the same alarms as the two speakers prior to me about the concerning news that we're hearing about the content restrictions, specifically on brain pop. Whether others are happening, I'm not aware of that. I'm only, hearing about brain pop myself. It's my understanding that as of September 2022, that there were countless materials discussing the Holocaust, slavery, mental health disorders, including depression and eating disorders, have all been restricted from public access on brain pop. As you already touched on,
knowing a lot of this content has been listed as sensitive, I understand and can appreciate, censoring it or restricting it for public access for children. My biggest concern is that it also is restricted from teachers. I think that at a time when, anti-Semitism and racism and children's mental health is in crisis mode, it is very alarming to me. And I think as a district, we're doing a huge disservice to our teachers in limiting access to resources. I understand that by law, they are still required to teach these items, but I have a big concern with, restricting access that is on a platform that we as a district pay for. I am a little bit perplexed as to that, where teachers have had, a history of showing inappropriate content, why you feel this needs to be restricted from them as well. As a parent and taxpayer in this district, I would like to have a little bit more clarity. You had mentioned that there is a vetting process, which of course I appreciate that, but would like a little bit more clarity as to exactly what that process is. How long if a teacher requests access to your curriculum, are they required to get an answer right away? Will they have to wait? We already have so much on our teachers day to day that I worry about making it more difficult for them to get access to quality resources that are age appropriate, that are used by other districts in the state and other states. It's just a big concern I have. And as Thea had mentioned, it also concerns me that policy 9130 may not have been met with this particular. As that policy states that no challenge material may be removed from the curriculum or from a collection of resource materials except by action of the Board of Education, and no challenge material may be removed solely because it presents ideas that may be unpopular or offensive to some. So I would love to hear a little bit more clarity on exactly what the process was for restricting the details and exactly what was restricted. And I'll follow that with you all as well.
My name is Robin Stella. I live in River Plaza. And as somebody who was the vice president of the Board of Ed and the chair of curriculum, we've had brain pop for years. I'd like to know when suddenly the Diary of Anne Frank became very sensitive. Just curious, as a Jewish resident in this community, a book that was written over 70 years ago was suddenly deemed sensitive, too sensitive for the children of Middletown. What are we trying to protect them from? Are we trying to protect them from actually learning? And I'm also wondering, our rankings are falling. Is there a correlation between censoring our materials and our falling rankings? This is something that we really need to think about. We've already demonstrated that our LGBTQ+ community is not welcomed in Middletown. Now we're showing Jewish people and people of color that their history is not a part of anything that we teach in this town anymore. I'm finding it very alarming. That's a word that's been used over and over again. I sent an email. I didn't receive a response, but if somebody can just let us know what exactly is sensitive about the Diary of Anne Frank, its actual history. And I don't know, I read it when I was in 7th grade. I'd like to know what. No, you didn't ban the Diary of Anne Frank. You banned access to it on Brain Pop. So, I know Brain Pop. Right. No, but you're banning access to it because suddenly it's considered sensitive. And in what world do we think that gangs of kids after school, oh, hey guys, I know what we could do. Let's go on Brain Pop, without our parents know. This isn't happening, okay? And if it did happen, are we afraid of our kids actually learning something? So I'm just a little concerned that we're focusing more on culture wars, and we're aspiring to be Florida, which is, if you look it up, it's ranked 44th in the nation educationally, and they have empty bookshelves. So if you could provide a little more clarity about what's sensitive about the Diary of Anne Frank at a time when Jewish people are being persecuted, I'd like to know. Thank you.
Can I just ask a question? And it's in this library, and it's in other libraries, so it's not banned, It's
Right, I didn't say that the book is banned, but for some reason, for many years, we've been using, access to it is being banned.
And if I could just
Why
make
is it
mention,
sensitive? It's sensitive.
I don't agree with the fact that Brain Pop is a high quality resource to begin with. I think it is.
Why are we paying for it?
We've been using it for
I
many,
know,
many
and
years.
it's being evaluated as in regards to its worthiness.
Oh,
Please, we can't have people yelling out.
Are we gonna start using those PragerU videos, the ones that teach about
No,
the
but
benefits of
if we
slavery?
recall
Those-
back to
those-
many conversations and many public comments that people have made that have stood before us, we are trying to get away from a video-centric environment in our classrooms. And in absence of instruction, teachers sometimes rely on videos too heavily. And after the COVID era, that is certainly the case. We are not saying that they don't have value in some places, but certainly we removed News ELA this year for that exact same reason. Because of the fact that teachers were relying too heavily on digital content. So it is one of the things that we're evaluating, our digital schools in total, as also we're evaluating the amount of time that our kids are spending in front of screens in our classrooms.
And also, I just want to say that Jake and I were just talking, he's studying the Holocaust right now.
Right, I know that there was a course available at high school salary.
And if you look at our literature curriculums, our literacy all across the board, you will see that there are books that have the Holocaust and other topics like civil rights embedded within particularly historical fiction. Because we believe the best lens for teaching about history is through literature. So if you really dive in and evaluate our curriculum, you will see that there are a plethora of books related to the topic of the Holocaust.
Okay,
And we
also-
have not removed them from our content or our curriculum or our book list by any means.
We're the only district that I'm aware of within 50 miles that has limited access, restricted access to Brain Pop.
We're aware that Brain Pop is an optional resource that districts can choose to use or not choose. It has nothing to do with it.
Right, no, I'm aware, but we paid for it, and for many years we
Make it
used it. Suddenly,
I'll explain.
right, suddenly, it's sensitive. I'm just curious.
We did not label the videos within sensitive. Brain Pop did.
Twice as fast.
Justin, what age?
It is K to 8. K to 8, yes. It's K to 8. And if you look through our documents, there are actually Brain Pop videos embedded within, but they're specified.
Dr. Rosa.
Thank you so much to everyone here, and really appreciate everyone staying on. As an educator, I understand that there are many different resources available. But as a taxpayer, I don't quite understand why this service was vetted at some point, be paid for by my money and everyone else's money. And yet the certain topics are being restricted. And you're telling me now it's suddenly a change of, I was hearing about, oh, we're trying to restrict the amount of time they're spent on the screen. Okay, that's a fair point. But then what does that have to do with only restricting certain subjects? And where does it then go from here? And what? And why? Sorry. And why it's not across the board then get rid of it. Sure, fine. If that's really what it's all about, eliminating screen time. But unlike most of you who are sitting up here, I have actually seen children using Brain Pop and how they respond to it and how they enjoy it and how they find it fun and it's kind of goofy. So robot doesn't really speak, but you seem to know exactly what he's saying. The kids respond to it. And that is so important in this age to get kids to actually pay attention and to take note of something. And especially it should be when there's something about sensitive topics such as this. And I can't understand the reasoning behind it. Teachers should have access to vetted taxpayer-funded resources available to them at all times. There's never been a restriction on these topics. Never been a restriction on Brain Pop. But suddenly they have to go asking with their hat in hand for permission. Please, sir, can I use this particular video. It's ridiculous. The district already vetted Brain Pump, as I said, and it should be made available to the teacher. We should trust the teachers to use these resources appropriately. If a particular staff member is not using it appropriately, then they should be directed to do so properly and not just restricted, just without willy-nilly, without any without even thought to the process. Brain Pop does not place a filter on the topics in question in other districts. I work in another district.
Thank you, Mary.
Doesn't, it
3
isn't
minutes
done.
expired.
And the business teacher was suspended in Wall, really? That's what you're hiring?
I'm a 40-year resident of Middletown. They've been married with their own kids. But it disturbs me greatly as a member of the Jewish community. I'm the past president twice, and congregation meeting is where the residents of Middletown belong. I'm also a Holocaust educator and docent for Change, the Center for Holocaust, Human Rights, and Genocide Education. A member of the Jewish Federation, which recently helped sponsor the recent Holocaust bill that was signed by Governor Murphy on Holocaust Remembrance Day on April 17th. And I come to you with a concern about how it's being taught, what resources are available to teachers. And as an attorney, I respect and understand process. Well, first and foremost, I understand we have a process here in Middletown. But if we have to have each individual video or material that teachers have to use to teach about Holocaust and anti-Semitism, to teach about civil rights, be approved for each and everything, we are delaying that process. Time is of the essence. Now more than ever, the lessons of the Holocaust have to teach are more important. We are facing a time when anti-Semitism is rising, particularly in Middletown and Monmouth County, and other forms of hate and bullying are on the rise. Our teachers need to be able to have the resources that they can use without having to wait for a long approval process for each and every piece, whether it's Brain Pop or some other material, whether it's a book, and I love books, and I still think books are the main source of education, so I respect you on that. But we need to be able to educate our children. They're not going to learn about how not to be anti-Semitic, how not to bully other students, but they're Jewish or they're Black or they're brown. We need to be able to have the resources available to our teachers. Prior to becoming a lawyer, I was a teacher. It's near and dear to my heart. We have to not control our teachers. Yes, we have to make sure proper materials are being used, but we also have to rely on the teacher's ability to teach and be able, at a minute's notice, this might help these students because they're not understanding what desires they are explaining, or that book the night is explaining, or any other great books out there on the civil rights movement. So please, don't censor each and every piece. Don't censor sensitive material. Now more than ever, we need to teach our children how to accept and how to. Thank you.
My name is Frankie Stella. I'm a recent graduate of Middletown High School South. I'm here to speak about the amazing people and resources that had a hand in my education here in Middletown. Those resources included expansive content and curriculum, provocative conversation and debate in my AP classes, a sense of belonging and acceptance in elementary school, and by far the most important resource, our teachers. They are more than academic instructors. They are personal mentors who got to know me and allowed me to know them. These connections are immeasurable but so valuable. These teachers are willing to expose us to real content that would impact us and how we view the world. When I heard that teachers needed to ask and be granted permission to gain access to particular content that I grew up with in order to enhance their lessons, I was shocked. It is these sensitive topics that have been restricted that have influenced my current concentration of study in community outreach and law. When you institute a procedure where teachers are made to ask permission to teach state standards, we're also stifling lessons in learning. Teachers see one thing when they are added to a list. They see that they are being watched. Perhaps that is your intent. Maybe that's your ulterior motive behind the political ploy that this obviously is. Perhaps our lowered academic rankings are direct result of this narrow censorship and overreach by our educationally unqualified board members. Perhaps it's time you trust your greatest experts and resources, your teachers. After your recent and continued efforts to attempt to erase the LGBTQ community, it seems as though you want to further marginalize already marginalized groups. As a Jewish member of the LGBTQ community, I no longer feel like a valued member of this community. I'm happy to have moved on, but I fear for our youth. Thank you.
Would anyone else like to take
Hello, everybody.
just your name for the record?
I'm sure everybody knows the name here. Wash Reynolds. As far as the brain pop that everybody's talking about, my children, I believe, I understand both sides of it. However, teaching starts at home. It starts with kindness. So if this is going to be blamed on any type of digital, access that teachers are given or teachers are, they say, and not given. When my child is on their Fire tablet, I know what they're on. So as far as this brain pop being a big issue to everybody, it seems here, it's not an issue to me. Because my children will learn, they'll learn about the Holocaust, they'll learn. But you know what? They're 5, 6, and 7. They're not gonna learn hate, not through me. And they're not gonna learn it in the Middletown school system. So I believe, like you're learning about it now. For me to shock my children at this age, they cry. My kids are raised with good hearts, a great moral compass, and a strong mom. I don't back down, as people may know. And I want to congratulate you, Mr. Capone, on your election. You, Jacqueline Tobacco, on your reelection. And most definitely, Katerina. But going back, I know I have maybe a second left. I believe it's the parents' responsibility to monitor their children. I don't care if my child is 15. You know that. I want to know what they're doing on the computer. I'll have access. So as far as this, holding back things, I'll make that judgment myself. So I am in full agreement with all of you up here. Thank you for today. Have a good evening.
Hey, my name is Ashley Studd. I live at 125 Delaware Avenue. I wanted to come up because I think there's one aspect that's just not being communicated. So these resources were available before 2022, and then something happened in 2022, and they were then restricted to teachers and students. There's two separate processes that the district has. One for adding content and resources. As a teacher, I'm very familiar with how to write curriculum and include resources that are appropriate. There's a separate policy, 9130, for removing resources. You should be bringing it to the board meeting for approval. The fact that it was done behind closed doors without any communication to us is what's alarming to me. All right, so I suggest you go back and look at that board policy. I'm concerned that there's more things that are being hidden from us. Someone was lucky enough to find this somewhere. And so I think the thing that's just scary for us is lack of transparency. And so I would like to know from 2022, what are the other things that may have disappeared?
Just to clarify, we didn't remove any resources. There are specified brain pop videos in our curriculum currently, if you go through the document. So we don't just put open source access in our curriculum guides. For instance, if you take a look, there's not just YouTube unfettered and unrestricted. We've moved away from that to act responsibly in writing our curriculum, inclusive of all digital tools. So I think it's a misrepresentation when you're saying that we've just taken out Brain Pop, because if you look in our documents, Brain Pop is still there with specific videos cited on multiple topics.
You did restrict it in 2022 from videos that were available pre-2022. And I think it sends a big message to the community when civil rights and Jewish videos are the ones restricted, but guns aren't.
But neither of those videos were part of what was approved by the Board of Ed and written by those curriculum teams. They were just a part of the digital app. So they weren't specified in the document, which is how a resource lands into the curriculum.
It's different. You restricted it. You took it away. That's not part of approving curriculum. Thank you.
Have 3 more minutes. Does anybody else want to make a comment or close public comment?
My name is Margaret Rislow. I live at 30 Falmouth Court, and I'm a retired educator. I've also hired 22 years of work as director of curriculum for the 6 County Commission. So I know a lot about it. My suggestion is maybe at one of the next board meetings, whether it's in January or February, perhaps you could show us samples of Brain Pop. Show us items that were deemed to be maybe not acceptable, so that we can have a better understanding of what everyone's talking about. I really don't, but I would like to, just have some more information for myself or the other people. So perhaps that's a possibility that we could take. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. To adjourn the meeting. Discussion, all in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstentions. Have a great night, everyone.